a little bit more into the meat of things, we're going to be looking at compound inequalities. This is going to be your unit or our notes 1.7. And compound inequalities is basically two or more inequalities. Let's make that look legible. That are joined together by and or or. Okay. All right, so right here, we're going to start with the or type. And if we look right here, the or, you should, if you're not familiar with it, the or tend to be graphed separately. What that means is that you'll see a space somewhere in the middle and arrows going out in each direction where the arrows are not touching. Okay, so that's what I mean by separate. And in this case, this can be written as negative infinity to -4. Oh, and that is a closed bracket. I'm sorry. That means we write our bracket, or we can use, and then the next portion would be 1 with a open bracket to infinity. And we can write it like this, right? This is actually our interval notation. So let me switch these around actually. See if it'll move for me. Okay, but another way you might see this is x is less than or equal to -4, or x is greater than 1. Okay, so this is how it can be written, and of course, this is how we do our interval notation. Okay, so to solve or inequalities, we need to solve each part, then graph on a number line to show the solutions. So very similar to what we were doing before, except now we have two inequalities. So of course, we're going to get x by itself. We're going to subtract 4 from both sides. This is going to be 3x is less than or equal to 6, and x is less than or equal to 2. So I have my first set, and the next one is divide both sides by 5. And now I have x is greater than 9. So I'm going to go ahead and graph these. And the first one is x is less than or equal to 2. So I'm going to find my 2 on the number line. And since it is less than or equal to, I'm going to be bubbling this in. And the less than 2 is everything to the left, right? And then I have x is greater than 9. So 9 is going to be up here. And since it isn't open or not included, this bubble is going to be open. And the arrow is going to point to the right. Okay, so now I have an or inequality, and reading from left to right, I need to write the interval notation. From left to right, I hit that infinity, right? That arrow first, so it's a negative infinity first to 2, and since 2 is bubbled in, it is a bracket. And then or you can use your union symbol. Then I hit my 9, which is an open bracket or an opened notation, so I get a parenthesis to infinity, parenthesis. Okay, jump down to and inequalities. And something about the and inequalities is different than the or is that they are graphed together. So we're going to write that here. They're graphed together. Okay. And what that means is that we can see the arrow would be going to the left in this case from -2 or to the right. And then from 5, it would be going to the left. So they're coming together and it's constricting our x values a little bit. So one way you might see this written is x is greater than or equal to -2 and x is less than 5. Okay. And of course, we can write this in interval notation. If we read from left to right, we are going to include our -2 since it's bubbled in, comma, and then we're going to go up to 5. And since that is not bubbled in, it would be a parenthesis. Oftentimes, and inequalities can be condensed. Okay, so we have the original example up here, right, where you would say x is greater than or equal to -2 and x is less than 5. Instead of writing it out like this, we can just make it into a simpler um, inequality where you put x in the middle. You put your smaller number on the left side, your larger number on the right side, and you add your symbols. And this is where you need to be a little bit careful. It needs to read correctly. Since x is greater than or equal to -2, -2 is less than or equal to x, right? We're flipping it since our x is on the left side, right side now. We're flipping the symbol so that it's open to the x. Same thing here. This symbol, our less than symbol, is open to the 5, so we're going to make sure it stays open to the 5. So now we can read this as -2 is less than or equal to x, and x is less than 5. Okay, so this is the condensed version. This is the way that you will be asked to write it on your worksheets and your quizzes and tests. Make sure that it's condensed, okay, when you're looking at and inequalities. All right, let's look at the next one. If the and inequality is written out, solve each part separately. If it's condensed, then solve it all together. Work inside out, meaning starting in the middle, then graph all possible solutions. So we can see, for example, what they mean is how this one is written out into two different problems where they put an and in the middle and we have one inequality over here and another one over here. But if we look down here, we have a in the middle on between both inequalities. So let's look at number 9, since you guys should be able to do number 7 on your own. In this case, we are going to work the inside out like it says, and instead of just subtracting or adding one to both sides, I mean to one side, we're going to add them to both sides. That way everything is balanced. So that one cancels out in the middle. -2 plus 1 is -1, and -1 is less than or equal to a. I'm going to bring this symbol down, less than or equal to 7. Okay, so -1 is less than or equal to a, and a is less than or equal to 7. So let's go ahead and graph that. I'm going to go to my -1 first, and since it is a closed notation, I'm going to bubble it in. And then I'm going to go to my 7. Since it's a closed notation, I'm also going to bubble it in. And since I know it's an and problem, I can just connect the two. Now, if it's something you can't remember, we can double check our work. -1 is less than a, so very good. So that means less than or equal to a. So a is greater than or equal to -1, meaning everything greater than -1 is an answer. That works. Now, if we look here, a is less than or equal to 7, then we go to 7. Anything less than 7 can work for a. So we are good to go. We graphed that. Now we're going to write our interval notation. Reading from left to right, I hit my -1 first, comma, and then I have my 7 second. So I just need to make sure I have the correct brackets or parentheses, and I do since both of these are closed.